Chief of Police. I have with me Lieutenant Doug Rice of our Major Crimes Division, and we're here today to give you an update on a shooting that happened late Sunday night. Frankly, a shooting that is unlike what we've seen in our community in any recent recollection, and that being a shooting that one of our victims is a 10-month-old baby. And this is frankly unacceptable, and the manner in which it was carried out is frightening for us, and that's why we are here today to give an update, but also to reach out to the community and seek of assistance in solving this crime, any leads. This incident occurred Sunday night, February 24th, when officers responded to a shooting call at 1820 Wooten Place Drive. The call came in at 11:10 p.m., a call into our 911 system stating that a baby had been shot. Our first officer arrived at the complex at 11:13 and within a minute and a half located the apartment where this attack took place. The officers located two victims of this shooting. The first victim was an adult male who was found to have a gunshot wound that was deemed non-life threatening. The second victim, the victim I mentioned earlier, was a 10-month-old baby that had multiple gunshot wounds and whose result was life-threatening injuries. The adult male was transported to Dale Seton Hospital for treatment and treated and released. The infant was reported to Dale Children's Hospital and immediately went into surgery for life-threatening injuries. During the initial investigation on scene, the shooting was thought to have been a drive-by shooting based on what we knew and what the evidence showed. Further investigation has revealed that the occupants of the apartment actually received a knock on the door, and within a matter of seconds of receiving that knock on the door, shots were fired through the door into the apartment, and those shots struck that 10-month-old child as he laid on the sofa inside, and as the father ran into the room to retrieve that child, he too was struck by the gunfire. It was later understood through the investigation and through the evidence that there were two individuals, both a man and a woman, that came to the door prior to this shooting and were at that door directly preceding the shooting taking place. We consider these individuals persons of interest and are wanting to locate them to determine what information they may have regarding this incident. The first person of interest is described as a Hispanic or white female between the ages of 17 and 25 years old, approximately 5 feet 2 inches tall and 120 pounds. The hair was described as blonde, but possibly dyed blonde, and at the time was wearing a turquoise or blue hoodie with pink flowers on the front. Again, this is our first person of interest, and we're seeking the community's assistance in locating her. The second person of interest, we do not have much of a description other than it was a male subject. We do not have any information on race, age, or any other descriptors at this time. Again, it is important that we reach out to the community and ask for assistance. The infant remains in critical but stable condition at Dale Children's Hospital, having undergone a second surgical procedure today. Where are we at in the investigation right now? Our Major Crimes Task Force has taken the lead, and they've interviewed multiple people in regards to this incident, and they're following up on every lead as it comes in. While we are still tracking some of these leads, again, our plea today is for the community to come forward. If you know something, if you saw something, if you've heard something, if you were in that neighborhood around that apartment when this attack took place, please reach out, please call us. You may think the piece of information you have is not relevant or will not assist us, but you won't know that until we bring it into all the other information we have. Again, this is an attack on our city that has taken place that is unlike any others in recent memory, and we could not have a more innocent victim than a 10-month-old child merely sleeping on the sofa when bullets rang through the front door, striking him. So again, we're asking anyone who has information, please come forward. If you're concerned about coming forward, concerned about identifying yourself, you can make reports anonymously through our Crime Stoppers program. Again, we're seeking any tips that you may have, any information that may help us identify who our suspect or suspects in this case are, and we're very interested in identifying these two persons of interest. Our Crime Stoppers number is 512-472-8477. And again, this being an incident that involved a 10-month-old child who was sleeping on a sofa as bullets rang into their apartment. This is something that we are vigorously working towards. We are putting all of our resources towards this case so that we can quickly identify the suspect or suspects in this incident. We don't have a lot more information to put out at this time, but I will open it up for questions.
Did those suspects know the victim?
Again, we don't know that we have suspects at this point. We have persons of interest, and until we identify them, we will not know if there's a relationship between them and the residents of this apartment.
So it's believed that the two persons of interest are the one who rang the doorbell or knocked on the door?
Yes, the persons of interest are the ones that we believe were ringing on the door just prior to the shooting taking place.
And do we believe that they're the ones who fired the shots?
Again, they're persons of interest at this point. That's why we want to identify, locate, and have an opportunity to talk to them to see what they may have observed out front, or to identify if they were at all in any way involved in this.
Chief, is there anything that you can say regarding motive as to why someone would do this?
That's obviously what we're trying to find out. Who went to this apartment in an attempt to do harm to the residents of this apartment? Once we do that, then we may uncover what this motive was. Again, there's never going to be a reason to do what this individual or individuals did. We're thankful that no lives were lost the other night, and we are hopeful that this child makes a full and quick recovery.
Any idea how many shots were fired?
That's information that we're keeping within the investigation right now, so we're not releasing that.
And you know, the age of the victim makes this particularly heinous, but the tactic, or the circumstance of shooting through a door, do you see that very often? Is that particularly upsetting?
Well, I think that it's anytime someone takes such a violent action against somebody else in our community, it's concerning to us as a police department. This incident is significant in that these bullets were fired randomly through this door, directly into this door, not knowing who may be on the other side potentially, and obviously there was a 10-month-old child who was critically wounded in this attack.
Is the father cooperating with police?
We're not going to speak about information we've gathered or not gathered and who we're speaking to at this point. Again, this is an ongoing investigation, a lot of moving parts, a lot of steps being taken right now. We do have some leads that we're looking at, but again, we really do need the community to come forward with any piece of information you have, whether or not you think it's important or relevant.
Just to make sure, you said critical but stable condition.
That's correct. And again, going into another surgical procedure today.
Last question.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.